up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, it's just a week of victory shows, Flannel Sam. And you know what? I love the colors over there. What up, though? People, it's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you, chat family, for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. And you know what? I just got to say, chat family, it's 2 victories. Not just University of Michigan basketball. Man, buzzer-beating victory. We're going to talk about that. But you know what? Y'all really did run up those likes yesterday. Y'all been hitting that super chat goal for us. I'm telling you, we feel the love. We feel the appreciation. And it was dope. Yesterday's show was so dope. I'm telling you, Flannel was just like, hey, he just balled up the show sheet and was like, the Pistons have earned this. Yeah. And it was awesome to be able to do. And you know what, man, Flannel? Those Michigan Wolverines.
Yes. Hey, they did it
Oh.
again. They were flirting with disaster and they avoided it again. It's incredible to watch them just continue to get away with certain things. We're going to break it down more in a second. Before I get to that, we've got some, we're talking draft a little bit today. Brad Holmes made some comments, and we got some love and a peculiar statement, which a lot of people are probably going to disagree with, from probably one of the most prominent national media members, Stephen A. Smith, and we certainly got to talk about that, and that is in regard to the Detroit Pistons. And later on, we're going to play one of everybody's favorite games, Would You Rather. KG has some questions presented, and we're making that a bit of a tradition on Fridays, and sometimes more than just Fridays, but on Fridays in particular, have the show being ended with some of KG's segments because they are always so much fun. But yeah.
Hey, and you know what? It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Y'all know Flannel Sam, vet of the squad, vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, Go Blue lover. I'm loving the maize flannel. And shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, that dude Justin. KG's in the building somewhere. Cavassier Chase. We got Willie B. And Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That's JBSmooovv. I know he's going to love this opening segment here when we talk about Michigan, bro. Like that.
Gross.
I don't even know what to say, but you know what? They keep everything in front of them right now. And you want to be able to say, hey, they can get their get back. That means you got to win those games like last night. Improbable, but it came away with a victory, brother.
There have been so many games recently. You can look at last night. You can against Rutgers. You can look at Nebraska. You can look at Penn State. You can look at Northwestern, where Michigan, as I alluded to earlier on, flirted with disaster, looked like it was going to end in disaster at times, but when it came to making the play to get the win, they come through. Again, wasn't a super impressive victory, but they got it done. And I want to say this too, just more take it on a macro level, because we'll break down more on the game in a second. I want to implore all Michigan fans, because last night certainly wasn't impressive overall. I'm not going to act like, oh, we're back, everything's great, because when it comes to tournament play, I have a lot of concerns. But there was once a time.
It felt like a tournament game.
There was once a time just a couple of years ago where Michigan's biggest Achilles heel is they would always vomit on themselves in the clutch, no matter what. Almost every single game. The Juwan Howard era, the Michigan program was plagued with that. We can talk about double-digit halftime leads being blown. We can talk about overtime losses in which Michigan had big leads late. There was a game against Indiana where they lost by 1 and they didn't score in the final 5:18 of that game. It was just prevalent. All they ever did when it came down to nut crunching time, it was like, it's not if they're going to blow this, how they are going to blow this. With this team, even though in a lot of games like last night, they don't always play well, their three-point shooting woes have continued, except for Namari Burnett at the end. Shout out. Their turnover problem has continued. They lost the turnover battle again.
They almost doubled up Rutgers in turnovers.
Yes. They had a stretch, and I don't even want to say they. Danny Wolf had a stretch where he couldn't make a free throw to save his life. They could have sealed that game earlier than they did, but they didn't. And free throws has been a problem in multiple games for Michigan this year. Even though they're not a terrible free throw shooting team, there have been some games recently where down the stretch they keep teams in games because they can't shoot free throws, like Nebraska and Purdue, for example. But they just continue to win these games. They continue to make the play when it mattered. Like last night, Namari Burnett, he saved their ass. It was an incredible shot. Yeah. Shout out to Danny Wolf, by the way, for making the pass as well. Great find. Absolutely. You go back to Penn State. Trey Donaldson saved their ass. Here, we can watch the play right here.
Right in the pocket, bro.
Unbelievable.
Goodness.
But that's been a trend with this Michigan team. We go back to Penn State, as I was saying. Trey Donaldson saved their ass at the end. They went to overtime against Northwestern. Nebraska had a couple of good looks to either take the lead or tie it at the end, and they didn't make it. Purdue had a potential game-winning three that they missed. You go back to the Iowa game at the beginning of the year. Roddy Gale made the game-winning layup. Peyton Sanford for Iowa missed the go-ahead and would have been game-winning three. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal because these are college kids. These are college teams. When you're a team like Michigan who actually makes the plays down the stretch, it's not always just about Michigan making the plays. It's that college kids, especially on mediocre college teams, are not always going to make that three, are not always going to be able to execute. And the fact that Michigan continues to do it, even though they've played close to the sun more often than they should, I love that because at the end of the day, you can talk about how they haven't always been impressive and they've had some struggles. They're 14-3 in Big Ten play. I would have killed for times like these last year, so I'm going to be grateful.
Because not every game is going to be perfect, and you have to win these games, and they did. You want to see them play better, and I'm going to ask you that in a little bit, but I know one thing they did. They definitely rebounded the ball.
Yeah.
Led by Vlad Golden. His 11, I think Danny Wolf had 8.
Yeah, 11 from Golden is huge.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll take that, but you want to see them do much better. With the three-point shooting, I get that. That's something I can live with. But the turnovers, those are self-inflicted wounds that will cost you against a team like – close your ears, JBSmooovv, the Michigan State Spartans.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, especially with how quickly you say they can turn those turnovers into a dunk on your head. And that's where I'm just like, with University of Michigan basketball – underneath Dusty May, that's the one tweak that I'm hoping he makes. With the rebounding, I believe that's an effort thing. You saw them go out there and put effort towards it. With the turnovers, I'm wondering if there's some aspect of a scheme he can do to put them in a better position to cut down on some of those turnovers. Because they doubling up Rutgers is what kept them in the game. If you double up Michigan State in turnovers, you're losing that game probably by 15 points.
Well, and that's what's so tough because I don't really have any answers right now because it's not like three-point shooting where it's been more of a recent thing. It's been the whole season, and they've continued to get away with it. Shout out to them because I'm never going to apologize for wins or apologize for good play. It's just when you're a team like Michigan who's got aspirations of being maybe a 4 seed in the tournament, especially if they win out, maybe even higher if they win out, you got to start looking at, is this sustainable for tournament play? I've said many times, and I don't want to say it, and I don't like to say it, but when you're a team like Michigan, I've said that if everything clicks, especially when you have a Danny Wolf, you can win the national championship if you get on a run, especially when you got Vlad Golden as well. But you could also, when you have turnover woes like this, you could be upset by a 13 seed. You could be uniquely vulnerable to that kind of stuff. So that's why I might be harping on these a little bit more and not just celebrating a win, because that win was awesome. That shot was awesome. I thought Michigan played well in the second half for the most part, but this is about tournament time eventually, and you got to clean some things up. You can't just go in turning the ball over and shooting poorly from three.
Look, bro, we clearly got people confused in this chat. You're not hype enough for this. You're obviously thinking more big picture, and they don't even know that I got on victory shades. Arf is like, Kool-Aid, you got a hangover? Shades on inside is usually the sign. LOL. No, they are the victory shades. Michigan keeps their aspirations alive. Obviously, postseason play, March Madness, that's in their future. But in terms of everything that they have to be able to get back with Michigan State, to be able to have a really good opportunity and good feels, good mojo going into the Big Ten tournament and March Madness seeding, that's where you You want to be able to get that victory. But where Flannel is looking at is this. Did anything you see last night lead you to believe that this team is less likely to have a slip-up? And that's the thing. It's like you saw it last night, and it took an improbable shot before March Madness to just keep their March Madness, not hopes because they'll be there, but wherever they're seated, man, that's where you give yourself that best opportunity to get hot and to go on a streak. You got some special players here, and that's part of the recipe. When you talk about playoff, hockey, you're talking about can your goalie stand on his head. When you're talking about March Madness, it's do you have a special player or two that can go on a run, and they do have those types of guys, and that's where you just want to shoot yourself in the foot less. And I get why you're thinking the way you're thinking.
Well, one thing, if you want some good news, I'll give you guys some good news about this, because obviously over the last 11 games, Michigan has played extremely well. I mean, record-wise, they're 9-2, but they've been outscored on the whole. They're actually a minus 10-point differential in their last 11 games because every single one of their last 9 wins have been by 4 points or less, which is insane, but still.
To back you up says Michigan has played pretty bad 3 games in a row.
Sure, and they haven't played their best, like, largely for large parts of the season, but they still win. Well, after I gave you that setup, I'll give you some good news because in these last 9 games, or not 9 games, I'll go 9 wins because I'm talking more about this 9-2 stretch. But in their 9 wins, there is one trend that I like from this Michigan team that I think will really help them to reach their ceiling in March Madness. In 7 of the 9 wins that Michigan has had in their last 11 games, Michigan has outscored their opponents in the paint. And there are only 2 times that they didn't in their wins, they were outscored by 2 points. And in numerous times where they've outscored their opponents in the paint, they've done it by double digits. That's where Michigan is at their advantage. That's why on a macro level, besides their ability to execute in the clutch, that's why they win games, because of Area 51. Nobody scores more in the paint in the Big Ten than Vlad Golden. For all of his flaws, that man gives you a good post game. He just does. He scores in the paint. Danny Wolf, even though he's not as aggressive at times as you'd like him to be offensively, he can get to the lane anytime he wants. He's also their best offensive rebounder. He gets putbacks. He can post up as well. Michigan should, against almost every single opponent, have the size advantage. Is certainly, when it comes to the size advantage, have the more skilled big men, the big men who can score more in the paint. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to impose their will, impose their size, because as we know, their three-point shot is fleeting. They turn the ball over a lot, but they can score in the paint pretty much any time that they want.
Yeah, and you want to be able to see them also be one of those teams where the motor is turned on at all times, where it's visible. It's one of the things that we see with these Detroit Pistons right now, and I think it's helping to spur them against in some matchups that some people didn't think they would win. I always refer back to the backhanded compliment of the team to watch this week because they've been winning, but they ain't been beating nobody. But now we see that they're out there on a completely different level from speed, physicality, and a hustle standpoint. And that's what I want to see out of a Michigan team, that if you're trying to figure out something and none of the answers right now are really giving you the dividends, at the very least, turn up the hustle. That's something that those players can and should control.
Sure, and like I said, they're 14-3 in the Big Ten, despite all their wins being close. They're 9-2 in their last 11 games. And one other note that I want to make on last night's game as well: Rutgers is not a good team. They have a losing record, and they have a losing record in conference play. However, and this is what's so unique about them, and why I was actually really intrigued about last night's game. They have 2 of the no doubt top 5 NBA draft prospects on their team, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, and they both balled out. They were incredible to watch. It's just that Rutgers, they don't have anybody around them. They don't know how to win. Whatever. They're going to look back at this season as a missed opportunity. So they're a team that if Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper get going on the same night and they can get some help, they could beat almost anybody in the Big Ten on any given night. Yep. So it's not like Michigan lost to a bunch of bums. Is Rutgers a bum team by virtue of their record? Absolutely they are. But Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper are formidable, and they showed it last night.
And Tyson Acuff off the bench. He was home, Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, he was really good last night. And that's the thing. If Tyson Acuff is giving you what he gave you, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, you saw what happened. They gave they put, a lot of fear into Michigan.
Bro, the A-Cups are some hoopers, bro. Shout out Rashad Phillips as well, man.
Yeah.
Yoda. What up, though, JB?
I just wanted to throw this in there. I'm kind of setting up a bet later, a parlay. I want to poll the room just a little bit. Over or under how fired up Ryan Ermanni will be later on today for a regular season Michigan win. I got over 2.5. What do you guys think? Over 2.5?
That's going to be interesting, man. I already saw a couple people in the chat even allude to that as well, man. What's your thoughts on the final?
I would say that Ryan Ermanni's not allowed to celebrate it. I'll just say that because, I didn't even celebrate it that much, and I will openly admit that I live and die with all regular season games for Michigan. I doubt that it will even get a second of airtime on Ermanni and Edwards with Mass, as it shouldn't, given how much Ryan Ermanni has openly admitted he doesn't care about regular season Michigan basketball, and that's his prerogative, by the way. It's just, I hope, at least for the sake of his consistency, that they don't talk about it. But for the record, even though I didn't celebrate it too much, that was still a damn good shot. And it was you survive in advance at some points. And as long as they continue to execute down the stretch, they'll continue to win. It's just, as we know, it seems as if some parts of how Michigan has played is not sustainable, but they keep getting away with it, and shout out to them.
Hey, you know what? It sounds like a recipe, at least for March Madness. Hey, you got to survive in advance. So, hey, JBSmooovv, I see we got some super chats.
Oh, yeah, we got a super chat in here. I got to throw this out there. Shout out to Dante151 for sending in his super chat, $9.99. He says, one thing that needs to be back to the NBA All-Star break is the mascot dunk contest. I don't remember the mascot dunk contest, but also go Pistons, beat the Nuggets, and whatever happened to that USA hockey jersey giveaway. If it happened already, then okay. I think it happened already. I think we're still trying to contact the winner, right, Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what happened? What is this mascot dunk contest? I feel like I've never seen this before.
I feel like I remember it, but I don't remember it. It feels
I
like
don't remember it.
I do not remember a mascot dunk contest. But still, get in those super chats whenever you can. As right now, the goal is set up there as well too. We're trying to do $50 today. Every single thing you donate helps, and we'll also get read live on air right here. So whatever you got, just donate, and we appreciate all you guys and our chat family.
Dang. And John F. and Laura's calling you out, man. He said, oh, snap. Flannel first went after Edwards. Now Ermanni. Flannel want them on the hot seat?
No, I'm not going after Ryan Ermanni. I was just simply answering a question. I actually think that it won't get any time on their show. As I said, as it shouldn't, given how much Ryan Ermanni has already openly said he doesn't care about regular season Michigan basketball, and that's his prerogative. I disagree, but Ryan Ermanni's very successful and very good at what he does.
Yeah, Jerry Alexander. I remember the mascot dunk contest. The Phoenix Gorilla used to always win. Dante151, the mascot dunk contest was in the 90s. I didn't remember if it was a contest. I remember them dunking. I just didn't remember if it was like an official contest. KG, do you remember that at all?
Barely.
It's like, I swear, bro, it's like that Inception. Like, it's like a half-remembered dream.
You're right.
Sheesh. Hey, but JBSmooovv, what friends we got to say what up to?
I got to let them know about Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code over there. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and if it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It's Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code, use code word Woodward1000, and make some money tonight. Go Pistons, baby.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Begin Injuries? Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
It's the Les Stanford Sign and Drive sale. Get a 2024 Envision for only $239 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $249 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $789 per month. $0 security deposit, $0 due at signing, $0 first payment, $0 acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at the Sign and Drive sale. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
What up, dog people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Appreciate you all for kicking off today with the WUW Crew.
Hang up and down. It's okay, man. You might have to lubricate it a little bit. It's all right.
Hey, that's that big musket energy right there, man.
Hey. Bang, bang. Thank you.
Hey, but you know what, man? It's kind of a little bit of TLB time right now. Obviously, the combine has started, and it's mock draft season. And everybody wants to know where the Lions go from here, especially if you've been listening to Brad Holmes' comments. It seems like they're going to value their cap space. They're going to value their draft picks, and so they're going to get busy here, I believe, in this coming draft. And we got another prospect breakdown day. Which prospect would you rather the Lions draft? Tennessee edge rusher James Pearce Jr. or Alabama linebacker Jihad Campbell?
Yes, we had it.
Linebackers?
We had a graphic about it on our socials. You got that, JB?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And also on our socials, we posted James Pearce Jr. and Jihad Campbell's 40-yard dash, and those are definitely two players that help themselves out at the combine. Let me start out with this, because you can take this in a way of breaking them down, getting into the nitty-gritty, or you can look at philosophically how they would help the Lions. I want to start with the fact that if either of them are there, available at 28, what Brad Holmes should do is he should call up his wife, give her the best 2 minutes she's ever had, sprint to the podium, and take one of those guys. Seriously. No foreplay will be needed.
Or less.
If those guys are available, you take either one of them.
How many picks in a pick meter?
Like 10, 15. No. And it's not so much that they're like the most can't-miss prospects of all time. It's the fact that at 28, I think they would both be absolute steals. I don't even know necessarily which I would prefer. It's just a matter of, what do you want on this team? I'll start with James Pearce Jr. because James Pearce Jr., for the record, according to the PFF Big Board, is the number 10 ranked overall prospect and the number 2 ranked edge rusher after Abdul Carter, of course. And with him, there we go. There's the 40 time right there. And speaking of that 40 time,
4.5 is crazy.
And he actually
for
ran
a DN.
another one, which was 4.47, which is a faster 40 time, by the way, than Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, CeeDee Lamb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And this guy's 6'5", 245, by the way.
And plays defense.
And also, I don't know if you guys have seen
6'5", 245?
6'5", 245. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen as well, in the agility drills, which are mainly for defensive backs, he looked like a DB out there.
Yeah.
Just absolutely insane. And this was big for him because James Pierce, being an athletic freak, and the metrics are good, 23% pass rush win rate last year. He's good against the run. He was also extremely productive at Tennessee. 17.5 sacks in the last couple of seasons, 28 tackles for loss, 2-time All-SEC. So he's, to me, as close of a sure thing as an edge rusher as there is in the draft other than an Abdul Carter. And I think that his ceiling is high. So if you want just a bookend edge that kills quarterbacks and can help Hutch kill quarterbacks, James Pierce Jr. is your guy. Now with Jihad Campbell, there's a little bit of a different skill set. But first, James Pierce Jr., are you guys in or out?
I was just going to add, especially when you're thinking about all the things Brad Holmes has talked about with this draft process. And for him, yes, the combine numbers, they tell a story, but he's looking at, as you alluded to, how does this guy look in pads? That's exactly the same approach that they took to Brian Branch. They were like, we just love the way this guy looks out there on the field. And when you combine it with the production, you combine it with the numbers, the measurables, and just the fact that both of these players look like their motor is on 100, you know that it aligns with everything Brad Holmes has already said about his evaluation. Then when he steps to the podium and effectively gives us, we were wondering, is he going to trade? Is he going to spend big money? No, it looks like going the route of the draft might be still that Brad Holmes way, and we've seen him go out there and get some number ones. And so when you see players like this, and you know that out of your 5, you're saying 10 or 15, it definitely gets me fired up as a Lions fan.
Absolutely. And I see a couple of comments. Gromit0237, game film never lies. And James Pierce Jr. has that in droves. And not just this year, but the past year, his numbers were even better. But his numbers were good both years. Skydog, combines doesn't mean jack to me. And I disagree to some extent, but I always lean towards the guys who are productive in college, who've got the combination of productivity, they've got the metrics, and they've got the talent and the just the body for it in the tape.
Because Brad Holmes didn't dismiss the combine, he just said that he's not making his selections based off of the hype surrounding the combine.
As you should.
When he put in, years of work, he said, with some of these players, dating back to when they first pop up as high school recruits, of following these players and then through their college careers and such. So you don't just go off of what they do at the combine, but it tells a story. You don't dismiss it either. And so far, the Brad Holmes way, especially when you talk about the draft, has been brilliant. It's put him in a position that he talked about. He says, you know what? We're at a position where we want to pay our guys. We have to pay our guys. And so if those draft picks can get you that rookie contract scale guy, that's where a DN like this, where people were wondering, can we get a Jared Verse type guy in this year's draft? That's where I get excited for players like this.
Oh yeah, and I think he's a little bit of a different player than Jared Verse, but I know you're talking about like a game changing, because Jared Verse was a monster for the Rams and really was a game changer for them, and I think James Pierce has that type of game changing ability. I guess if there's any concerns, it would probably be his size, and I know his broad jump wasn't great, or it was his broad jump. It was his vertical jump, but I'm not too concerned about that because the tape don't lie, his speed don't lie, and I think he would be a great addition to this team. Although at the end of the day, one of my stock answers is I don't think he falls, but if he does, I already detailed what I think Brad Holmes' process should be, and that's exactly what he should do. What he should do. KG, James Pierce Jr. Would you like it? Love it?
Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in. And my main thing is I'm trying to book in somebody with Hutch that's a true athlete. And that's something that Hutch hasn't had his entire time he's been here. He hasn't had somebody on the other side that is just as much of an athletic freak as he is. So I think if you go out and you get a James Pierce Jr., which you can't take everything from the combine, of course, but it does tell you something. And something that is telling you is that you can't teach speed. This guy can get around the edge very, very fast, and he also has the game tape to back it up. Like you said, 17 sacks over his college career. That's no small feat right there. I do understand his lack of ability to use his hands at times. He tends to, rely on that speed too much, but that is something that you can coach at the next level. So I think just what he is right now, he's still still a little raw, but his overall ability projects him to be a top-end pass rusher. I would absolutely go all in on that as opposed to a Jahad Campbell, which I like a lot of things about Jahad, and we'll get into it. But if I had to pick between the two right now, based on what our needs are, absolutely you go after a guy with this kind of athletic ability.
And I don't hate that at all. I mean, for the record, I don't even know who I would choose between the two. But,
it's a tough choice.
We'll see. Maybe I will talk myself into one and not the other, because right now I'm talking myself into James Pierce Jr. over Jihad Campbell. But to be fair, we haven't really discussed Jihad Campbell yet and all that he can bring to the table as well. And I think we should do that when we get back. We can separate the prospects, because I think they both have deserve to get time on their own, because I think either of them, if they get to 28, it is an absolute steal.
You know how I feel about those linebackers.
Hey, I know where you're gonna pick.
And that's the thing. They haven't done anything to shore that up. Last offseason is just the offseason that they do that.
Yep, and Grittville, USA, Hutch, Pierce, and Zadarius rotating in and out for them would be hell of a. And that's the thing. Yes. Zadarius is a little long in the tooth, and that's okay, by the way. He can be here for next year. He can be that bookend. I'd even be comfortable with him being like the number 2 edge rusher if they don't do anything else. But James Pierce Jr., it's about setting up the future, having that bookend edge rusher on a rookie contract after you pay Hutch. Make him maybe the highest paid defensive end in the NFL. But yes, first, before we get to Jihad Campbell, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness, where you might have seen a James Pierce Jr. or a Jihad Campbell from time to time. You probably didn't in the last few years. They're probably using their team facilities. But anywho, it's got 50+ Metro Detroit locations. You can get the cheapest membership at only $15 per month if you want to just work out at your home gym, or you can upgrade to the Black Card, $24.99 per month, which gives you access to all Planet Fitnesses across the country, or the world actually, or you can bring a guest if you would like. Join today in club or online, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Somebody say merge. Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. We are dropping new designs for you every single week. We got to update this graphic because I know we got some new stuff up there right now. But let me tell you about the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies that are available right now. And you can't forget about the Woodward Tigers as well too. That season is starting up very, very soon. And I know you want to be decked out at Comerica Park. So be decked out in some Woodward Sports gear. woodwardsports.com. Just click on that shop tab.
Merch. What up, though, people? And you know what? If you want an opportunity to go home with some merch, when we get to that $50 goal, our first goal, one of you all will go home with some merch. So, hey, shout out to some of our winners as well. I know Byrne, he got to get into the studio and pick up his merch, and we actually upgraded for him, too. We got a shirt, LFGRW shirt, and a signed hockey puck from the legend, Darren McCarty, a 4-time Stanley Cup champion winner.
Let it burn.
Hey.
Let it burn. If the feeling ain't the same. Okay.
What you know about that, Usher, Sam? What you know about that?
Oh,
don't break it down, Flannel.
Shout out to Easy as well. I see they're going to have a special guest on the show later. Coach Calvin Shepard is going to be on the heavyweight?
Apparently.
I did not know about this.
Apparently he is.
He is? What? Can we get, like, pictures and everything?
I guess, yeah, it'll be a camera on them the whole time. So y'all motherfuckers. Sick of y'all shit, man.
In for another young legend, Spin Mo Racks. But talking about Jihad Campbell, and you said that this is another one of those guys on your out of 5 pick list. You're talking 10 or 15 picks if they're available. At 28.
At 28. Specifically at 28, yeah.
At 28. And this is one that last year I was wondering, okay, are they going to do anything at the linebacker core? But when they started really talking about the growth of, Jack Campbell, and then we saw how formidable Malcolm Rodriguez was before he went down. And some of the steps forward Derek Barnes took, I was okay with it. Obviously, Alex Anzalone is just, he's a beast. But this year, you got an opportunity to go and actually add something to that linebacker core. And if he's there at 28, and I still know you're still mulling between the two, but Jihad Campbell is one of the guys that you would consider.
Well, to bring this full circle, James Pierce in a vacuum as a player in terms of what you would think would benefit the Lions in terms of a bookend edge rusher, I would probably rather have him. But with Jihad Campbell, when you watch his film, when you see what he did last year, he was highly productive. He blew the combine to shreds. He was one of the combine stars, by the way. And when you listen to other people talk, like I obviously have discussions with Spencer, who was very high on Jihad Campbell. I've come to the conclusion that the appeal of a Jihad Campbell to the Detroit Lions is that on this Lions team, he could end up being Derek Barnes on steroids. And I think that that's what is the most intriguing. And Jihad Campbell, he showed last year, if you want somebody that can play on the line and can rush the passer, he showed a pretty high pass rushing upside as well. He played 99 pass rush snaps, got 5 sacks. I know some of them are on blitzes, but that's a very good percentage. And he also played over 100 snaps on the defensive line. So he's somebody that his pass rushing upside is certainly tantalizing, I would say. His coverage numbers are fantastic. He allowed an 88 passer rating when targeted, which is great. Good against the run. This is a PFF stat that I'm actually not so sure of, but apparently he had 30 coverage stops, which was first out of any linebacker in this class, which I assume is like incomplete passes or even maybe short passes where he just tackles the back or tight end immediately. As you can see, his 40 time was fantastic. His 40 time was actually faster than Will Anderson's, which I find it intriguing that they're using Will Anderson as a comp because Will Anderson was a lot more of a pass rushing demon coming out. Maybe one of
say Fred Warner.
Yes, Fred Warner. That was a Daniel Jeremiah, and I believe I have that in Slack as well. You will see, Jihad Campbell's measurables at the combine compare very favorably to one Mr. Fred Warner, and we obviously know that Fred Warner is. That Fred Warner is elite. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's an All-Pro. But Jihad Campbell's a better prospect than Fred Warner was. I'm not saying that Jihad Campbell is going to be Fred Warner. It's just that I find it personally intriguing that when they're talking about measurables, they talk about Fred Warner. But I also think that enough experts think highly enough of Jihad Campbell's potential pass rushing upside that they're making comparables in 40-yard dashes with Will Anderson. So I think, in conclusion, what would intrigue me about Jihad Campbell is to potentially fill an immediate need. You could let Derek Barnes walk, and you could bring in somebody who is better than Derek Barnes. I think will be better than Derek Barnes on day one and have a very high pass rushing upside, much higher than Derek Barnes. So obviously getting a linebacker in the first round again after the Jack Campbell situation, even though Jack Campbell was good, it seems unconventional, but you plug Jihad Campbell in as the Sam linebacker on this team. I think he makes their defense better immediately, and I think he's a day one starter.
And Michigander 1212, I see you in the chat. He says Jihad reminds me of Micah Parsons, who can play both in pass coverage and
I'll tell you what, Micah Parsons he's one of one. Like, even when I watch Mike, because I watched a lot of Big Ten football, obviously, as a Michigan fan, when you saw Micah Parsons at Penn State, he would make me salivate. Like, watching him, I would just be like, who the F is that guy? Just one of those.
And I hate Penn State.
One of those, like, insane specimens who was also very productive. Kind of the same way that I felt about Jadeveon Clowney when he ended Vincent Smith's life, where I'm just like, oh, my God, who is this? Obviously, I knew who he was, but just looked different out there. But the Micah Parsons thing, I don't think that anybody in this draft is going to be Micah Parsons, quite frankly, except maybe Abdul Carter. But I think what he's saying is that in college, people forget Micah Parsons was not just a pass rusher. He was an all-around linebacker. He could cover. He was good against the run. He played off ball as well. He's turned into one of the best pass rushers in the game when he got to the NFL, because that's how the Cowboys have utilized him, and that's how they should utilize him, because he's amazing. So I'm not saying that Jihad Campbell is going to be that, but it's not a crazy thing to look at Micah Parsons and be like, huh? You know, Jihad Campbell has a pass rushing upside as well. Maybe he can be a poor man's. Maybe he can be more of an off ball. You could deploy him any way that you want, and I think he'll succeed.
Because I do know, I'm so grateful that the Detroit Lions have a player like Alex Anzalone. When he got back in the playoffs, we saw instantly the effect that he had on this team, the high IQ he has, the end-to-end speed, sideline speed, and just the tenacity he has, the ability to cover a little bit, and the ability to get after it in the run game. But at what point in time do the Lions need to start thinking to beef up that linebacking core? Because Alex Anzalone is 30 and not getting younger. And that's where, when I think about a player like a Jihad Campbell, and you talk about making sure that Jack Campbell, who they believe is prepared to be that guy, they already say he's a green dot type linebacker. That's where I'm wondering, like, at what point in time do they go and give him some more help thinking about that long-term success? And does Jihad Campbell kind of fit a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's certainly an intriguing possibility, because we obviously linebacker is a position that I think I know you don't overlook it, but you like to bring attention to the fact that, you know, Alex Anzalone, he's, you know, past the age of 30. Malcolm Rodriguez is coming off an injury. Derek Barnes is in a contract negotiations. He might be let walk. Jack Campbell's obviously amazing, but Jihad, I think, just for the need on this team, is one of the more intriguing picks in this draft. And just one more thing before I pass it over to KG. And I know Neil Rule harps on this a lot, and this is something where I actually think he has a good point. Jihad Campbell is clearly, at least in terms of prospects, the best linebacker in this draft, in terms of like off-ball linebackers and not pass rushers. And if you have the opportunity to get the best player at a certain position at 28, that is as intriguing as you can get.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. And he does project to be a complete linebacker. He makes plays all over the field. I love what you can possibly do with him in terms of blitzing him, just based off what he showed us this past year, his ability to get to the quarterback. He does have good bend around the corner, and he's able to get home pretty well. So also, what he can do in passing coverage, I think is pretty damn good for a player coming out of college. It's just, I don't know if we need top-end talent at the linebacker position just based on what we have right now. And, you know, you look at Jack Campbell, and people forget, you might have, you know, had gripes about where they took him at, but he was undoubtedly probably the best linebacker in that draft, and the Lions decided to make a move on him. And already 2 seasons in, he's showing you the improvement that you wanted to see. He's a 100-tackle guy. He's improved in coverage. He's still not perfect, but I project him to get better over time. And then you still have somebody that, you know, with Alex Anzalone, that's experienced, you know, that can pretty much do it all. He's a Swiss Army knife at the linebacker position. And I think that you can just rock with those two. And if you have to replace like a Derek Barnes, I think you could just move to more of a specialist type role, because I think most people would say that Derek Barnes is maybe a specialist in the run game as opposed to the pass. I think you can just get by that way. And linebacker is always a position that you can always find in the draft. So even if you don't get them this year, you have a damn good chance to get a good linebacker next year in the draft as well, especially if you have a later first round pick. They will always be, you know, available, assuming they keep their picks. So I love a lot of things about Jihad Campbell. The recent injury kind of concerns me as well, but overall, he is a can't miss prospect. He is somebody that if he does fall to you, you have to seriously consider it. But just based on our needs right now and what I think the Lions need, I would much rather just get a pure edge rusher as opposed to a complete linebacker when you already technically have 2 complete linebackers on your roster.
Hey, look, the chat family, though, they look like they're for Jihad Campbell. Vincent E. pounding the table for Jihad Campbell. Michigander 1212. We need a linebacker since the Lions are releasing Jalen Reeves-Maven, especially for depth. That was the news that came out yesterday. He also said Jihad sounds so likely since Brad loves Alabama players. R.J. Graham. Wow, we talking about John Campbell. Nice player. I love to have more Campbells for the soup.
That's facts. If you're from Alabama and if you're from either Alabama or you're a Campbell, you're good for this team. And Jihad's both. Yeah. I'm kidding. That's obviously like not a real thing, but but I'm just joking.
Yeah, but I do understand what KG is saying. He's not saying not to add linebacking support and help, but in terms of the high-end talent, because especially when you're talking about at 28,
right?
You do believe that there might be a little bit better help for the defensive side of the ball than maybe going at linebacker at that point.
And linebacker is always a position, once again, that you can either get in free agency, you can get in the draft if you want to wait a year. You're not in desperate need. It's a need, don't get me wrong, but you're not in desperate need of a linebacker at this point. And if he falls to you, which I seriously doubt he falls to you, because he's projected to be a top 5 pick, even with the injury, a team will still take a chance on him. So I doubt he's even there. But if he's there, you absolutely have to consider it. I just don't think we need that right at this current moment.
And you know, I don't hate that at all, because at the end of the day, I said that I wasn't going to choose, but I think I have a slight lean when it comes to James Pierce Jr. and Jihad Campbell. And I think I would go slightly for James Pierce Jr. if I had to choose. And it's just for the simple fact that the possibility of having James Pierce Jr. on one end and Aiden Hutchinson on the other is just it's tantalizing. We all know what Aiden Hutchinson can do, and when he's healthy, he's a Defensive Player of the Year caliber player. We know that James Pierce is a relatively can't-miss prospect. I'd qualify him as can't-miss as an edge rusher, and given the fact that he would get to play opposite Hutch, I think that would be a good position for him to come in and not have to have a ton of pressure on him. And both of them would just eat. They could end up having one of the better D-lines in football with a couple of guys like that. Aiden Hutchinson, a known, and James Pierce with a guy who's got a very intriguing ceiling, and I believe a relatively high floor as well.
Especially, with this draft, it looks like, if they're not trading for a Myles Garrett type of a player, they're going to have a couple options in this draft, or a couple opportunities to beef up that defensive line. Is this one where you guys are hoping for both edge and interior help in this draft?
Yes.
Because that's what I'm looking at. Because when you think about the can't miss, potential can't miss prospect in Pierce, and pairing him not just with Aiden Hutchinson, but if you're going to get more draft help that can play or make a year one impact, and you're talking about what we already have here in Aleem McNeil when he gets back, that's where I do believe you're not, and Darius Smith is still here, you're not asking for this edge to come in right away and be our number one the way that we had to ask that of Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, he was up for the task, but you're talking about a player that can come in here and give you high impact type talent with a usage that you can manage as he's still learning the NFL.
And honestly, too, given how valuable – they've always been valuable, but given how much they're going to be paid, having an edge rusher on a rookie contract, I think is going to be a very valuable commodity. I mean, ask the Rams how they feel right now. Hell, ask the Lions how they felt the past couple of years with Aiden Hutchinson. Because the contract that Aiden Hutchinson is going to end up getting – it's going to be prodigious.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
He's going to set the market. We all know that.
And then Will Anderson's going to get one that's maybe even bigger, and so on and so forth. So if you have Hutch paid and you have James Pierce on a rookie contract, it's just the possibilities are the ceiling for that is, as Marty Morningweg would say, high.
Right.
For real.
The bar is high.
And that guy 62 asks, what picks do we have other than 28? Obviously, the first
60.
round. 60, pick 2. We have a 4th round.
Yeah.
Pick 131 via the Philadelphia Eagles, I see here. Then round 6, pick 197 from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then a plethora of a 7th round, 226, 229, 245 in the 7th round.
You have most of your draft arsenal, most of it.
Yeah, so they can go in there and definitely, if it's not a Jihad Campbell, they'll have an opportunity to make something happen in this draft potentially. But is there somebody, I haven't looked at like the free agent list, is there somebody out there you think they can get? Because I would like to see them make some type of contribution to that linebacker core.
Linebackers, man, I'd have to look.
Yeah,
I mean, Khalil Mack is the one that stands out the most.
As like an
I mean, but he's older. We all know that, but he is somebody that's still productive and maybe might not command as big of a contract as we think. So I think that should be in consideration for the Lions. I'm not saying they should go out there and just absolutely do it, but it's something that they should consider, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think when we get back, we can. I think we should talk a little Pistons, because whether you like him or not, when Stephen A. Smith talks, our ears perk up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he said a couple of things.
He made some good points, but we're going to get to it.
Yeah, and I forgot the compensatory pick. Thank you, Easy.
Yeah,
We
the
got
third round.
rounder this year for the AG taking head coaching deal. So, all right, hey, let's say what up to some friends.
Got Jars, right?
Jars.
Oh yeah, Jars.
That good guy.
Let me clean up the super chat we got here. Shout out to Dante151 again for sending in another $9.99. He says, per the Athletic, the Raiders and the New York Giants are eyeing Stafford on a 2-year, $90 million contract, while the Rams prefer a 1-year deal with about $40 million. Like, that's just gross numbers.
The Rams are saying less years and less money?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. He took you to a Super Bowl. That's kind of crazy, dog. I can't lie.
This bad for Stafford since he was a Lion.
Yeah.
They can't.
But it makes sense why he's sneaking off to Montana with Tom Brady. You know he likes to cheat on his franchises, so it makes sense why he's cheating. Because if that's what they offering him, I'd be like, F you too. Like, I'm gone.
They can.
That's crazy.
They could win it all with him, given how they've drafted recently.
Defensively, yeah.
They were the closest team in the playoffs to beating the Eagles. They had the ball with a 6-point deficit. It's strange. And what the heck is Matt Stafford going to do on the Raiders and the Giants? I mean, he's going to make them better, but does it matter? The Giants in that division, what's Stafford going to do for them? Like I said, he's going to make them better, but who cares?
Right.
6-7 wins. Maybe?
Giants ain't going nowhere.
I guess if you're just trying to be on like the major media markets on both coasts, hey, Stafford, just go check that off. You got a Super Bowl. So it's like, just go do that. Low expectations.
He don't want to go to that shit show, though. It's a shit show over there. Is Brian Dable still coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shit. Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about?
I think
Joe Shane still in power.
He's the bigger offender of the shit show.
True, but they both pretty bad. I mean, Brian Dable did himself no favors.
Raiders, and then maybe, you know what, Sheila could be like, look, man, I'm the guy. You know, we're godparents to your kids. Help us behind the scenes, make this Max Crosby deal work. Listen, Max Crosby, that's the Devin Booker of the NFL for me. Just come home, bro.
It's not happening. Just like Devin Booker, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Maybe when Devin Booker's like 37 years old, he'll take a chance on the Pistons. But
I've been thinking about KD though.
Hey.
Once again, it's not happening.
Not happening.
I love KD.
Not happening. Not happening at all. But
Just get it out your head.
Let me tell you about Jars Cannabis, because I hope you tapped in on socials.
Oh, this is happening.
The Rail Jam that happened this past weekend. D-Mac Stick were out there. Got to meet U.S. gold medalist Kyle Mack. It was a real good time. And Jars is doing a lot. No, I did not get real. Everyone else got real. But let me tell you, they were handing out cold hard cash to anyone pulling off big tricks, and they had themselves a day. But Jars is doing amazing things right now. A bunch of brands you need to go and check out. They even got a special gummies built in with live rosin, and they are only for a limited time. And you know what? Once they're gone, that flavor is done, and then they start a brand new batch. So head over to Jars Cannabis, because you know what? I know you want to get high. It's the weekend.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
At Lady Jane's, we take the charge of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, my favorite, the hot lather neck shave.
Nice and wet.
Hey, you know what, man? And that hot towel treatment as well. Hey, listen, make sure you ask, don't suggest. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome. Wicked. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. And there were some comments, man. Stephen A. Smith. Now, we know that there was real beef between our brother Matthew Broder and Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
man.
street beef for real.
Some straight up street beef, man. They was putting dirt on each other's names, and there were some comments that on the surface everybody was like, yeah. When you just saw the quotes of JB Bickerstaff should be coach of the year, and that he's shell-shocked by what the Detroit Pistons are doing this season. We've been saying JB should be coach of the year for some weeks and months now. But there was another little comment that came out of there. Should we just let the clip speak for itself, Al?
Hey, we can let both of them, and we can react to both of them afterwards. Go ahead and play them both, JB, please.
I said that J.J. Redick for the Los Angeles Lakers is a Coach of the Year candidate. I did not say he's Coach of the Year. J.B. Bickerstaff is the Coach of the Year. I can't believe, I am shell-shocked at what I have seen from Detroit. I'm so happy for Malik Beasley. Cade Cunningham, this brother's averaging over 25 a game. He's averaging over 9 assists per game. This brother is special. Former #1 overall pick, 11th in the NBA in scoring, 3rd in assists, okay? I just told you about Malik Beasley. You're looking at the Pistons. They're 6th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. They would avoid the play-in. This is a year after they went 14-68 with a 28-game losing streak, okay? I'm looking at that. I'm looking at them ending a 12-game skid against Boston 2 nights after ending a 10-game skid against the Clippers. And I want to say this name because you don't hear this name almost never. His name is Troy Weaver. He is the former assistant GM in OKC who was running things in Detroit before they let him go. He picked this squad. Langdon hired J.B. Bickerstaff. Those players are Weaver. He gave them about $60 million in cap space. He picked these players. We don't mention him enough. And I want to say this name because you don't hear this name almost never. His name is Troy Weaver. He is the former assistant GM in OKC.
I realized that the second one was just an extension of just the Troy Weaver on its own. And that one clip, he mentioned them both. But interesting. I'll just say that
it got a lot of engagement, as I'm sure Stephen A. Smith knew it was going to get here in Detroit and in the great state of pure Michigan. And I stand on exactly what I've continued to stand on. And we even had Rob Murphy, who was here in the building. He was an assistant GM for the Pistons and general manager and president of the Motor City Cruise while he was here during some of Troy Weaver's tenure. And he told you guys what it was as well. Some of the picks that he definitely had a hand in, and how his evaluations went. And when you talk about the player evaluation, these young guys, that was a lot of Troy Weaver. flipping in different picks to get back into the first round, to get guys like Isaiah Stewart, to get guys like Marcus Sasser. That was him. And when you look at the free agents signings, the Tobias Harris one was one that we knew was going to happen. I don't know how much of that was actually him. I think that one was probably an organizational signing. And that's not to take away from what we've seen Trajan Langdon already do by getting probably the biggest prize in a Malik Beasley as a free agent. That, to me, has been one of the things that sparked things. But when you talk about the assessments and making those right picks, we remember during those drafts, these weren't just picks. Cade Cunningham is the one that I walk away with saying, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Slammed up.
But there were still people talking about, is it Jalen Green, is it Cade? I thought it was a slam dunk. There were some people who thought it should have been Evan Mobley. I remember even before. And that's probably more of an argument. But when you look at some of the other picks, there was so much controversy around, or conversation and debate around who it should be. Asar Thompson, I remember the conversation. When we were saying it was going to be the home run pick, and even though we were like, look, if you want to go short, get a Jarris Walker. If you want the home run, go Asar. A lot of people were like, why would you go get a high schooler who's only played against high schoolers? That's what I remember the conversation being.
Yeah.
It wasn't some notion where it was like, yeah, when the notion was, the conversation was around Jaden Ivey. There was a lot of people who were not for that pick. And so it's like, today I hear people say, no, all those picks were just, those are the perfect picks. Jalen Duren slid down.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they had Jalen Duren in their top 5 of their draft board. That when he got to 13, he knew, nope, got to go and make that pick. They made the trade. I know how people feel about that draft pick, but how do people feel about that draft pick right now?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody cares. You're looking at what Jalen Duren is becoming, and that's where you do have to tip your cap. Now, did he undermine himself? Yes, he did, by not properly building around this team. And that's where it's like, you give him, you compartmentalize it. You give him credit for what he did to bring in those young players that everybody knows is going to be pillars for Detroit Pistons' success for times to come. But he didn't do enough to help them, which takes away from how much you want to go and wave the pom-poms for Troy Weaver.
Right.
No, and honestly, I love how we almost completely glossed over what he said about JB Bickerstaff, which yes, JB Bickerstaff is absolutely the coach of the year. And I'm not blaming you, by the way, because I'm actually more intrigued with what he said about Troy Weaver. But JB Bickerstaff is obviously the coach of the year. I'm glad that national media is starting to recognize. I guess when you think about it, if there's any competition, I think Kenny Atkinson could be second or third, but I would still put JB Bickerstaff over Kenny Atkinson because of what JB Bickerstaff inherited, a team that won 14 wins last year, the turnaround, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to the Troy Weaver comments,
just real quick, just to add, that is part of my narrative. Yeah. It's what you talk about, the teams you inherited.
Mm-hmm.
JB Bickerstaff inherited a lot of work.
A lot.
The first and third historically worst seasons on record.
They're not supposed to be here right now.
But Atkinson inherited JB Bickerstaff's team.
That's why I said second or third or something like that.
There you go.
And JJ Redick does deserve some votes, by the way, just for the record. People called him podcast boy. Now people are seeing that Darvin Ham was a bum. But anywho, that's my personal narrative.
LeBron James is looking much better than I think people thought.
In the G League.
It's in that JJ Redick system, though.
Yeah.
JJ Redick's a very smart, but this isn't about JJ Redick. This is about the Pistons and Troy Weaver and everything. But I will say this, and this is where I actually disagree with a lot of what I'm hearing. You can give Troy Weaver some credit. You'll hear some people say, like, he gets no credit, he gets negative credit, he was the worst GM ever, it doesn't matter. All of those picks were obvious. And I'm like, I beg your pardon? People are saying that Asar Thompson was the no-doubt pick.
We remember the conversations, Flannel. We were here in this studio.
Yeah.
We remember the chat.
A lot of people thought he was the lesser of the two brothers.
I got comment sections to prove it.
I am not trying to act like Troy Weaver did a good job. It's just you can give credit where credit is due. He did draft Cade Cunningham. He did draft Jaden Ivey. He did draft Jalen Duren. He drafted Asar Thompson. And he drafted Isaiah Stewart. Were Killian Hayes and Sadiq Bey misses? Yes. Did he do a great job building around all of those guys? Certainly not. But you can give credit where credit is due. It's possible to just say those were some nice draft picks, And I'm really glad that we have Trajan Langdon instead now.
Yep.
That's not hard to do. You don't have to act like Troy Weaver had no part in this. You can give him his proper credit without glazing. That's the problem with sports discourse this day. Now I'm a Troy Weaver apologist, according to some people. I'm sure you are. You are
You're
too,
a
but it's
Weaver
not the
bot.
case.
I finally get to say this to you. You're a Troy bot.
You're right.
I remember the day he said
And
that to me. I was so hurt.
And that's the thing. No, but
No, for real, y'all. He was.
but for real, no,
I might have been,
that
though.
is a great full circle moment. I will give you that. But here's the thing, though. I have no problem with giving Bob Quinn credit for Ragnow and Decker. I have no problem with giving Al Avila credit
turned
for
the table on us the other day with that.
Riley Green, Tarek Skubal, Parker Meadows. No problem whatsoever with that. But I can also acknowledge that none of those guys that I mentioned were successful here. I'm happy as hell we have Scott Harris, Brad Holmes, and Trajan Langdon now.
Yes.
But you can also be like, nice job, guys. You don't have to act like they were complete nothings here, even though they were not successes. I repeat, not successes.
This is what I like in Troy Weaver, too. And because you saw what the Pistons organization did. They've been really, really good with, if they believe someone has contributed to our organization, you know what? We're going to make sure people know that. They go out of their way to do that. The Pistons did that with Troy Weaver. That's why in their press release, they put out there what it was. And there were opportunities for him to stay with the organization. They wanted to retain him the same way they did another great basketball mind in Dwayne Casey. It's just, he was like, I'm just going to kind of move on. I know these guys are in good hands. So, you know what? Shout out to, and to be able to, obviously, when you got a Trajan Langdon coming in, it was, everybody just needed a clean break. And so you don't, you make the point. That's why I said it as well. Compartmentalize it. He did good as it related to the drafting and getting that in here, but he undermined his own success. And that's the thing. You're judged based on that success. Even Joe Dumars, who bought a championship here, that guy, by the end of it, though, you see how he was judged. It was crazy. If he didn't win a championship, I'm glad he won all those championships because he's a player that deserves more than he gets right now. Troy Weaver didn't even win a championship. And so I understand where people's ire is because he didn't even make a playoff appearance. We didn't even sniff the play-in. And so that's why I understand where people are coming from. But where you and I are completely in lockstep is compartmentalize it. Because this is what I can tell you. I haven't seen a GM go out and do what he did in a matter of 3 or 4 years with the amount of young talent he has. We're talking about Cade, Duren, Asar, just in terms of the high-level young talent that they have to be able to go on. And we do know that Troy Weaver did have Ron Holland #1 on his big board, which was confirmed by Rob Murphy.
Yeah.
That's fair. Go ahead, KG.
I think Stephen A., when I heard those comments yesterday, I had to look at myself and say, yeah, he's mostly right. And, like you said, Sam, it doesn't have to be the tale of two extremes. We can meet in the middle and say he does deserve credit for a decent number of things with what's going on with this Pistons squad. But at the same time, I think just, it coincided with a philosophy change from upstairs as well, but I'll get more into that in a second. It's funny you brought up Al Avila because that's how I really look at Troy Weaver. I have historically said on this network that Al Avila didn't necessarily pick bad players, but when it comes to trades and free agency, that's where he fell short. 100%. And I feel a lot of that same sentiment for a Troy Weaver. He didn't necessarily draft bad players except maybe Killian Hayes, but when you look at the type of veterans that he brought in to pair around Cade, that wasn't good. When you look at some of the trades that he makes, you already know I'm a Sadiq Bey simp, and hey, you call me what you will about it, but the fact that you traded him for James Wiseman wasn't really the best move at the time, and I do get it, but there was a lot of things regarding Troy Weaver that just ran a little thin. You look at the fact that they openly tried to tank and things of that nature, but people have to also remember, like I said, it kind of coincided with a philosophy change upstairs. The Tellums had a good stranglehold on some of the decisions being made around this team at the time Troy Weaver was in charge. And that was the big thing that we were really talking about. How much is the Tellum influence really hampering Troy Weaver's decisions?
I had whole articles on it.
Yeah, no, seriously. And when Trajan came in, you kind of had your owner Tom Gore's face the media and take responsibility for how he's run things over the last, 15 years or so, saying that, yeah, I haven't really been present. I was kind of hands off and I wasn't necessarily putting the right people in place to handle things while I'm not around, which is why he wanted a more CEO-like mindset, which is why he went out and got a Trajan. And the big thing in Trajan's, on his side of things is that he went out and got a coach that was perfect for this team. He went out and paired the right veterans around Cade Cunningham, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor, instantly. But, I just really feel like when you come into a situation like this, and you got to give Troy Weaver credit for also cleaning up the books, because coming into a situation where your books were on the cleaner side of things, I think that also goes a long way in helping the next regime. But you got to give Troy Weaver credit for some of the things that we are seeing with this Pistons team right now.
And just to kind of, add on to what you're saying there, these are things that we covered aptly. These are things that I tried to bring to the forefront. People don't, I get it, some people want to mock or scoff at, if there's sources or not, but there are real connections to the organization and the things that were going on there. And you said coaching. Which coach did Troy Weaver get to hire during any of his 4 years?
Monty Williams.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Oh, yeah, and that's true.
He was running his own coaching search.
Yeah.
He was looking at his own individual.
It was going to be Kevin Ollie. I remember there was a lot of talk around Kevin Ollie around that time.
There was a serious debate between Kevin Ollie and Buck's assistant.
Was it Charles Lee?
Charles Lee.
Yeah.
There was serious discussion between those two. And then out of the clear blue, it just became Monty Williams, and that was a push via the owner. And that's where, when you look at a Trajan Langdon was hired at a different position than Monty Williams, than Troy Weaver. Look at the original articles and all that. It says he was brought in effectively as an assistant GM to literally work under Arn Tellem and Ed Stefanski.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about some of the moves that you don't like, he wasn't 100%. But when some of those moves that we don't like the trade of Sadiq Bey for James Wiseman, you just have to follow the dots. Follow these things. Look at the connections, and you start to understand maybe there was a little bit of influence. So when you get Tom Gore saying, you know what, I still like my guys that are here, but on the basketball side of things, we probably need to bring in an actual president of basketball operations, which Troy Weaver never was. He was a GM. He never got what Joe Dumars had. Joe Dumars had the ability to suggest and the ability to approve. Troy didn't necessarily have that full power, whereas Trajan does, and Trajan is that singular voice. You look at Bojan Bogdanovic. Why was he the vet that they brought in?
He was a Tellem client.
Okay, and that's where I'm saying, okay, so you don't get to hire your coach. We don't know how much you got to pick your vets. We just know that the one thing that we know for certain that they left in your hand, which was drafting, he hit more times than he missed. And that's where you compartmentalize it and you say, you know what? Troy Weaver, tip the cap for the things that you did. And if it just wasn't his position, this is where it's more or less on Tom Gores, who was able to clean up and to effectively put in the right structure for us to see the Trajan Langdon, because he's crushing. He brought in a lot of good people for this front office, the coaching staff, and even following through on bringing in a Tim Hardaway, a Beasley, and a Tobias.
But that's the unfortunate part about this whole thing, is that Troy Weaver kind of had to be the sacrificial lamb, because when you look at Trajan, he doesn't have to deal with any of this shit. Yes, the Tellems are still technically around, but they don't have nearly the influence they had on this team. Trajan has been, like you said, granted powers that Troy never even had his whole tenure here. So I think that you got to take that into account when we're talking about who gets credit for what in certain areas. We love Trajan. We love some of the things, that he's done, but he hasn't had to deal with the same strife that Troy Weaver had to deal with, because like you said, during that whole tenure, we were saying, how much is Troy Weaver handcuffed? A lot of us felt like he was handcuffed.
Yeah, and I see Gromit and some others in the chat, and it's like, it's awesome to be able to talk about this in this kind of perspective right now, where they're having success, where we know Trajan Langdon is the guy. Like, I'm glad that they have a president of basketball operations now that can just handle everything, and it's his voice that's going to be what drives what this organization does from a basketball standpoint. I'm grateful for that now, because it's been a mess. They've been trying to spin this wheel for a long time. They brought in Stan Van Gundy and gave him president of basketball operations and coach, and then let him bring in a GM.
Yeah.
And that just didn't work. And then they tried to go Ed Stefanski. You're not going to be a GM, but you're going to run the department. And then they went to Troy Weaver. We're going to bring you in to kind of be an assistant GM, but we're still not going to have a president of basketball operations. This is how many different eras? How many? Over a decade, man, of non-traditional front office structure that now they're finally back to it. And they brought in a very smart, very well-established, very well-proven president of basketball operations in Trajan Langdon. And you know what? They did the same thing. They decided we want a president of business operations and brought in Melanie Harris, who has worked in the front in the offices indirectly with Jordan Brand and Nike and others.
Yep.
And shout out to Melanie Harris, great person. Gave me a lot of time in terms of interviews and some off record stuff as well at the DIA event as well. So it's like they got good people, they have good leaders, and everybody that they've brought in has continued to honestly come up 7-7-7.
Y'all, you making great points. And, you know, when Trajan was first being considered, I think a lot of us were skeptical about this because, like you said, we all knew Trajan, you know, from being over with the Pelicans. He's a great basketball mind. He's somebody that, you know, it has his ear really close to the game and knows how to identify certain amounts of talent. Well, that's the same thing we heard about Troy Weaver coming in. People forget Troy Weaver was kind of highly touted around league circles at the time he came to the Pistons. He had a big hand in a lot of the stuff that went on in OKC in regards to, you know, how they came up, how they acquired picks, and he was in the room with Sam Presti. So, you know, we were skeptical at first, but now that Trajan has the full autonomy to be able to do what he wants, I think that's the biggest difference. Could Troy have maybe worked it out if they got behind him? It's yet to be seen. I do like, you know, how Trajan runs things, and I like his direction and just his overall, you know, attitude towards the job, but we'll never know because Troy was never really granted that power.
And we've never seen Troy. I've never seen, like, okay, he's making the assessment on veteran players.
Right.
So it's like we don't know. Trajan, he has a track record, or at least has been in front offices that have done that very effectively.
Yeah.
I think this discussion and this whole point, and going back to what Stephen A. Smith said about Troy Weaver, is a great lesson for those of you who needed it in nuance. Nobody on earth is asking anybody to say that Troy Weaver was a success or that you can be happy that he's gone. We all are very happy with Trajan Langdon. But at the end of the day, and I said I'm consistent with Bob Quinn, with Al Avila, all bad, but you can't skip the things that they did, even if a lot of it was helped by certain development and whatnot. Troy Weaver picked a lot of good players. Al Avila picked a lot of good players. Bob Quinn picked a couple, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And we're happy that all of them are gone. All things can be true.
All things can be true.
The Trajan era is
100% with that, Flannel.
Yeah, no, the Trajan era is the development arc of the Pistons story because Troy brought the players in, but they weren't developed correctly.
I liken it to when they had to figure out how do we get out of this kind of Rich Rod era. The Rich Rod era to me is SVG, and then they brought in Dwayne Casey at the end, and they let him know, like, hey, look, we're going in a different direction. I don't know how many people understood Dwayne Casey when he was hired. It was an organizational hire. He was going to be here beyond his coaching, and they already knew that a rebuild was going to come. I liken Brady Hoke's era though to clean up and be that bridge, because if you talk about retconning, like what's a part of the lure, what's a part of the main canon, they try to eviscerate Rich Rod, but they did everything in their power to say Brady Hoke is a Michigan man. Jim Harbaugh did it, the organization did it, and that's what you see the Pistons do with the Troy Weaver. They say, look, no, and they did it themselves in their own press conference. He was responsible for these things. We do have a good opportunity in our future because of the players he identified. It's just he didn't do enough to get them to winning.
Right.
17 wins, 14 wins, back-to-back years. That's on you, Troy Weaver. And now we got Trajan Langdon, who in 1 year has put together everything you need, because it's about, can you run the organization? We talk about program builders. You needed to be more Sharon Moore than just a GM.
Right.
That's the, you got to be a program builder. You got to prove that you can bring in the necessary pieces from top to bottom, from front office to coaching to players, and that's where Troy failed ultimately.
This was a fun conversation. I really enjoyed it. I never thought I would enjoy a conversation about Troy Weaver so much, but that's okay. That's okay. Just because, I don't know. I guess to put a bow on all of this, after I said I was going to put a bow on it before, I'm going to do it again. For some reason, the people who want to give Troy Weaver not just no credit, but negative credit, for some reason that's got on my nerves lately. It's funny how things come full circle. It's a Kool-Aid. I know you are.
He's complete nirvana, man. He's just like he's on a good place right now, Flannel Sam.
It is. It's complete bliss. But you know what else gives me complete bliss?
What up, though?
Would you rather?
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yes.
But
let's rock.
What do we got? Dr. Pierce?
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
you want to clear up some super chats before we head out?
Absolutely.
Let's play the super chat.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do this. Shout out to everyone sending them in. $4.99 from Shy216. Congratulations, my bro. Today is my 8-year anniversary with my queen, so I'm taking her to the Pistons game tonight. 56-26 loading.
Hey.
56.
Yeah, 56.
What have you done to people, KG?
Hey, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I'm influential. What can you say?
Thoughts and prayers to Mrs. Shad216. You said it to me, buddy. Come on now.
And I got another one from Dante151. Shout out to him once again. Love the profile picture as well, too, man. Said, does Luke Walton get consideration for assistant coach of the year and how he helped JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons as a whole? I think so. What do you guys think?
Fair enough.
It's
Yeah.
fair argument. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I agree.
Luke, I'm just looking at it again. Yeah, Luke Walton is a good basketball mind. We covered that over Summer League after being able to kind of run into him and talk to him a little bit down there, and so I can't wait till next year, man. The basketball conversation is so dope, and I know y'all are basketball heads just as much as I am. So help us get to Vegas, people.
Yeah,
Thank
please.
you guys to this point for everything you're doing to support us in that endeavor. The likes have been up, the super chats have been up. And we are appreciative, man, from the WUW Crew to you, chat family. But attention, sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big The Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. You guys got to trust, you got to DMAC trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 with your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the network, the vet of the squad, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower. Hey, you know what? KG over there getting prepared for Would You Rather. I am intrigued today.
Hey.
That is, Detroit's #1 draft pick. And straight up ball knower. That's one thing we knew when you got here. Just right away. It was ball knower.
Appreciate that.
Knows football, man. We also got Kavasi Chase in the building. Shout out to our brother, that dude, Justin. And in the booth, Willie B holding it down again. You're getting better and better and better over there, brother. Appreciate you on the team. And we got JBSmooovv, WUW Sports MVP, in the TD booth. And you know what, KG? Take it away. Would you rather? I'm interested, man. I'm intrigued.
I got you.
have no idea what the questions are going to be.
Hey, hopefully I got some heat for y'all today, but the name of the game is Would You Rather. Y'all know what it is. I'm going to present 2 or more situations or scenarios. You have to pick one and then give a brief explanation as to why you made that choice. Of course, chat, we will read some of y'all answers off. Super chats get boosted to the front of the line. Willie B, Big Willie style. Play me some pimping, man. Hey.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get some music.
All right, my dog. All right, number 1 in Would You Rather. This might not be as simple as it looks. Would you rather Cade Cunningham win Most Improved Player or JB Bickerstaff win Coach of the Year? You must pick one.
Say that one more time. Cade with the MIP or JB with the Coach of the Year?
You got to pick one.
I'm going Cade. I'm going JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year.
Oh.
Cade Cunningham was bestowed All-Star status this year. That is a great accomplishment. His first year as an All-Star. And so that is one award that we overlook sometimes. And I do believe he's going to get All-NBA as well. You know what? I want them to have everything, but if it's just one, JB Bickerstaff has to get it. Think about the string of coaches we've had.
Yeah, I like the angle you took with that.
I'm going to go JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year to the surprise of nobody because I've said it. I don't want Cade to win Most Improved because I think it gives raw red meat to the people like Stick who act like he sucked before this year. So give me JB Bickerstaff.
You just ain't been watching. I mean, you can look at his last year numbers. They are, just around what he's doing now. So, JB, go ahead.
Give me JB Bickerstaff winning Coach of the Year. I agree with Flannel. Cade hasn't been a bum or a slouch at all, despite what Stick might say about him. But still, JB has put in the work since the beginning of the season to improve this Pistons team, and it's showing right now. So give me JB Coach of the Year.
Chase GPT.
I'll just say Coach of the Year.
All right. Willie style, you got something for us?
Man, I get JB Coach of the Year. So in that case, Cade, he been that guy ever since he got drafted. He didn't improve. He always improved every year. So in that case, I get JB because he did it just 1 year. So
I'm telling you, because I agree with a lot of what Flannel said. If they're gonna give it to him, give him his award. But I almost don't want to let the media off the hook like that. I just feel like it paints a narrative of, now we can finally give him this award because he's improved. And like Willie B just said, he's always been that dude. They just been slow to it.
I hear y'all. I'm going to pick Cade for Most Improved. And, JB Bickerstaff's track record speaks for itself. I mean, he's done this with multiple franchises now. Even if you want to go back to his brief time with the Grizzlies, he even improved their defensive efficiency. I don't look at it that way. I get what y'all mean, and I don't think y'all wrong in any sense, but I look at it as more they're finally putting respect on Cade's name, and they're giving him the recognition he deserves by giving him this award. Because, we got to be real, bro. Because the Pistons have been in the gutter for so long, they were just not going to get the love from the national media. Winning coincides with everything, especially in terms of NBA. So for Cade to get this award, now that the Pistons are finally a winning franchise or, appear to be a winning team this year, and he's a big reason for that, I give him his award. He deserves it, bro. He's earned it. And I do understand, yes, he's always been this, but I think this is just recognition from the national media pretty much saying, all right, Cade Cunningham, he's arrived.
It's crazy. He wasn't even in consideration for comeback player of the year, but whatever.
Well, and maybe this is where I have a bit of a disconnect because the national media sleeping on Cade doesn't bother me as much as our own fans.
Well, that's true, but
and I get that maybe it's a different conversation, and I'm just being
if you from hearing you was hating, okay, you just not watching the games, or you just have a preconceived notion, and that's on you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do we got anything in the chat?
I was gonna say a lot of people are on the JB Win Coach of the Year. That's Michigander. 1212 Gromit, JB Coach of the Year. Terrell Lamar, JB Greg 2025 says Coach. Skydog 722 says KG for Coach of the Year.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. All right, but number 2 in Would You Rather? Would you rather play Jaden Ivey in the playoffs if he's cleared, or bring him back healthy next season?
You know what? Ashton, the trainer, already put like, yo, Pistons gonna be crazy when Jaden Ivey come back. I think he said for the playoffs. If that's the thing, if he's healthy, if he's clear, if the doctors say he's good, everything's good to go, I don't see why not. I think that some people have pondered, like, if he comes back, what does it do to the chemistry? I just believe this team is very connected. I believe in what Jalen Duren is saying about these guys and the growth that we saw Jaden Ivey take this season. It was before a lot of the other players like Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson either played or took that growth.
Yeah.
I want to see Jaden Ivey back on this team. I think it would be a huge boost for this squad, both when you talk about on the court as well as psychologically.
Absolutely. If he is 100% cleared, he should play. No rushing back whatsoever, but he can help this team in a playoff scenario. But only if he is cleared, and probably cleared and then some.
Jay Bizzle.
If Ivy is cleared, I definitely want him to see him in this playoff series, whatever it may be. I know it's probably going to take some time for them to gel just a little bit, but don't get it confused. These guys are professionals. They know what they're doing out there. And if you just see him on the sidelines during practice or after the walking boot is off, him trying to get back on the sidelines, it's just like he's itching to get back there out on the court with his brothers. So I want him back here as soon as possible.
Cavassier.
I mean, if he's healthy, why wouldn't you play him? I don't know. So.
Yeah.
If he's clear, that's fine, you know. But I like to see him at full strength. But if the doctors say he's clear to play, he's clear to play. That'll be great. But I'd rather see him at full strength. To be honest with you.
And I love my narratives, man. Detroit boy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
a guy who has gone through so much adversity and it ain't over for him. I like to be able to step up there in the playoffs, knowing that when this team was kind of rudderless, when they didn't have like the chemistry and the young players stepping up like they are right now, it was really Cade and Ivy and sometimes Beasley, like a Y.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know, I don't know, man. I want to see him be able to get that, even if it's minutes restrictions.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you know, where I err on the side of that. Do we got anything in the chat real quick?
Hey, I'm seeing Skydog says play Ivy. G Money 313 says bring him back next year. Tyler M next season. Michigander, bring him back healthy next season. I see Terrell Lamar though. We need Ivy. So it's kind of a mixed bag. And I get it on both ends of it.
Right. And, you know, just the timing of everything is going to be, like, super important as to whether he plays in the playoffs or not. But I would bring him back, but like you said, it would have to be kind of on a minutes restriction, or maybe I bring him off the bench during the playoffs, because there's going to be a ramping up process to him having to come back and play basketball, you know, at the level that he was playing it at. And you don't want to put a whole bunch of pressure on him just throwing him out there in the starting lineup in the middle of a playoff series. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on him, you know, just getting back, and expect him to go out there and pretty much do what you were doing before you got injured. So I would definitely play him if he's cleared, but I would probably bring him off the bench for a majority of the playoffs. And you can't tell me a lineup with Dennis Schroeder, Jaden Ivey, and Malik Beasley coming off the bench doesn't intrigue you. So
it's intriguing. I still believe short term and long term, Jaden Ivey in that starting lineup.
No, absolutely. But when you look at just how the chemistry has been without him, just for this playoff run, seeing that he's coming back off an injury, I'm taking some of that pressure off of him and just let the team kind of be how they were, because they've been cooking without him. So,
hey, you know, I got to just read this one off real quick. This is my guy, Mr. My City. I see you, bro. I see you, man. $5 super chat says, guys call me crazy, but this team can win a chip. They haven't peaked yet.
Oh, my God.
We've seen some special things this year that I haven't seen in 20 years. I am just saying.
Don't get our hopes up, man. That's it.
He's trying to help us get to Vegas.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. Bro, hope to see you at 3-on-3 day.
All right, number 3. This one is good. Would you rather Beef Stew guard Jokic in tonight's game, Jalen Duren guard Jokic in tonight's game, or Asar Thompson guard Jokic in tonight's game?
I want Isaiah Stewart to get the burden share. I think he has the fouls to spare. I believe that he has the physicality and just the mental makeup, the mindset. Not that the other guys are not capable. I would like, obviously, they're going to get spot duty. They're going to get switched off, but I would love to see Isaiah Stewart just go out there and try and frustrate and just combobulate Nikola Jokic. And then you're going to need Asar Thompson for some of the guards and the wings that the Denver Nuggets do have as well. Definitely.
I'm going to say I'm gonna say beef stew as well, but the one caveat is, are we sure he even plays over 20 minutes? Maybe they ramp him up for this game if he's slowing down Jokic, but you might need Asar Thompson to get on Nikola Jokic for at least a few possessions. So a combination of the two, primarily Isaiah Stewart.
Oh, nobody said Duren yet, JB.
Well, then I'm saying Duren right now because no disrespect to Isaiah Stewart, but I just don't think Jokic is going to be bothered with him at all. Like, I just think it's just his everyday thing that he's just going to command that center pace. So give me Duren out there, although you're going to need Asar to kind of like just a step in and like help out whenever you can. So this is going to be a committee type of thing to defend this dude.
Cavassier, would you rather beef stew guard Jokic, Jalen Duren guard Jokic, or Asar Thompson guard Jokic in tonight's game?
Jalen Duren.
Okay. You said that pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean he's the largest of the three. So
true, but size don't necessarily mean good defense.
No. Points, Stu is your best paint protector in the season, despite the size.
Yeah, but Jokic likes to come up to the high post a lot. So I mean,
he's a more versatile defender on the perimeter.
On the perimeter, yeah.
That's Stu too. That's the size.
I'm just going with the size matchup. I'm looking at the tail of the tape.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Big Willie style.
It's a tough one because all three. I go to beef stew because one, Jalen Duren ain't gonna be. It'd be too much for Derrick Jones to guard Jokic if he gets off on the offensive end or get everybody involved. So, and Osari, if you put Osari on Jokic will have his way, use his size because he's too small for him.
Yeah.
He's too small. Even though he's
partially
athletic,
agree. Yeah.
Even though he's he's athletic, but he'd be too much for Jokic because he gave up 3 inches. He gave up 50 pounds. If you have Osari Thompson guarding Jokic, so it's a devil's advocate on that one. So I bet on DB Stu because he will be bringing nastiness on the defensive end. Will try to be physical with him, but stopping Jokic is far fetched to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But Kool-Aid, we got anything in the chat?
I see Randall Small's $5 super chat. I think Duren is going to step up for the challenge, and obviously in that first quarter. He's the starter. He's going to have to step up for that challenge, and the challenge is realistically how effectively he's going to be able to defend and stay out of foul trouble, which is the Jalen Duren factor. I believe as a defender, he's definitely made some great strides just in this season alone.
Yeah.
And to Chase's point, you're talking about a defender that's going to have a little bit more length and range to be able to potentially present different looks and different level of, you have to get your shot off over Duren's hand to Nikola Jokic. And so I see some people who I believe ADiz11 says Asar, Duren, Stewart will all guard Jokic.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Definitely,
but yeah,
definitely will. Measuring stick matchup for Duren, time he considered Mr. My City, because you're right, that first quarter it's up to Duren.
Yeah, no, and ADiz we agree, but this is just who majority is going to guard Jokic for this game.
Do you guys think there's any way they go to bias?
I've started
guard the fours that have a little wiggle.
You know what? I started to put Tobias as another option for this question, but I don't know. I think I'm straying away from that. Although Tobias has been playing great defense lately, I'm not putting him on Duren. I'm not putting him on Jokic for a majority of the game.
Go ahead, Tobias. Go out there and get embarrassed.
Such haters.
Come on, JB. But no, I'm not doing that for a majority of the game. But I get what you was getting at with that. But if I had to pick, I'm actually gonna change my answer. I was originally gonna say beef stew, but I'm give Duren that challenge. I need to see Duren get a little bit better in terms of guarding the perimeter, but in the paint he should be able to at least make things hard for Jokic and contest. And I do agree with Willie. It's a tough task to stop Jokic just because of how skilled he is and the kind of touch he has from anywhere on the floor. But they're gonna use Asar Thompson, as a kind of buffer between him and Duren. He'll play on the perimeter against Jokic a little bit, but primarily I want to see Duren go out there and be able to manage that pick and pop, and also be able to try and challenge him in the paint.
I like that.
All right.
I like that.
All right. Do we have to go to break, or we cruising still?
You can do another one.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4. Would you rather Brad Holmes still try to trade for Myles Garrett or trade up in the first round of the draft? Now, the trade up does not guarantee you're getting into the top 10. It could be as much as 1 or 2 spots, kind of like how we saw last year with Terry and Arnold. They only moved up a few spots.
First round would mean giving up maybe that 1 in the 3rd.
It's going to cost you. Either one of these moves is going to cost you draft capital. So you need to look at it that way. But I can guarantee you a trade up in the first round. We don't know how much. We don't know, who they getting. Or you can still try to trade for Myles Garrett because that saga technically ain't closed.
I feel like I would. Goodness gracious, man. I've been all for the Myles Garrett aspect of it because you're talking about pairing up him with Aiden Hutchinson, and that's going to be your best kind of bookends in history. I got to see what that looks like, man. If you're giving up the draft picks regardless, I'd rather give them up for a Myles Garrett than moving up in the draft for a prospect who could give you that year 1 impact. But I would rather do it for Myles Garrett. I got to stay consistent on that.
Sam, would you rather Brad Holmes still try to trade for Myles Garrett, or would you take a guaranteed trade up in the first round?
Myles Garrett, I would take everything that I said earlier about James Pierce and Jihad Campbell and just Kobe it into the trash. I'd rather have Myles Garrett. I'm just saying, guys like Jihad Campbell and James Pierce Jr. are contingency plans. Give me Myles Garrett.
Jay Bizzle.
Man, fuck them picks. Give me Myles Garrett. I don't care. What are we talking about here? This is Myles Garrett versus a rookie that we're going to have to put in time to. Come on. Give me Myles Garrett right now.
I'm going to keep the trend going with Myles Garrett.
I was surprised. I thought we'd get some switch ups in here. Go ahead, Willie.
It's like, when you try to get something new when it comes to ladies, which pick? You want the young one or you want somebody you want a woman that knows what she's doing? With experience. So I go to Myles Garrett on this one.
She know what she doing.
You want me to lie? You want to tell the truth?
We love the experienced women. We love the experienced women. At least I do. I love me a good experienced woman. But
was that a bar?
Yeah, confirmed. Absolutely confirmed. Do we got anything in the chat?
I'm saying it's effectively trade for Myles Garrett. That's Dante 1-5-1. Randall Smalls trade up and get his guy. So he wants the draft. It's Skydog KG trade up for Grant.
Yeah. It could be a trade up for anybody. I'm not saying that they couldn't trade up into the top 10, but it's not necessarily guaranteed.
Terrell Lamar trade up, Chuckle Cheese Garrett. So it's a mixed bag there from the chat.
I'm surprised, man. I thought this would be more on the draft side because people you could tell people are starting to get discouraged about the whole Myles Garrett thing. I've seen some people backtrack like, it's not happening now. But while the saga is still technically going on, I would still try to trade for Myles Garrett because like you said, if you got to spend the draft capital either way, I would much rather you try to spend it for a Myles Garrett. He did come out. Ari Mayroff tweeted that he has no interest in doing a contract extension with the Browns, which makes sense just because he said he don't want to play for him no more. But I think the longer that this goes, this could maybe drop the price because there's a good chance he might sit this season. Like, if they want to keep posturing at the combine, that's fine. But the vice grips get tighter once you get into May, once you get into June, July. And then August, the season is back. And if he's threatening to not even play during this next season, I think the pressure will be on for them to get a good deal while they can, and which could drop the price. So I think you should still pursue him because the saga's not over yet. It's not over till it's over.
Not to mention as well, too, that the Eagles are one of those contenders as well that could be trying to poach a Myles Garrett because there's rumors that they are willing to move off of very big pieces to acquire Myles Garrett. I don't know what those pieces are, but still at the same time, like if they're willing to do this, they're trying to go all in once again to win another Super Bowl.
One of the caveats that Flannel continue to enter into these discussions. If there is a player on the move, this is different than the Max Crosby deal where the Raiders are saying we're keeping him, and he's saying I want to be a Raider for life. Blink if there's a gun pointed at you when you're saying that.
Right.
But with Myles Garrett, we understand that he wants to leave. The potential is this though. When you said you want to see him go to the Commanders, I was like, oh my gosh. No. And it just instantly was like, no. If he goes to the Eagles, at least that's a team that they're the Eagles and they're the reigning Super Bowl. You want another squad now?
No, that's crazy.
More dogs. It's like it's partly this. You keep your dogs. And if you can go out there and add another one who can give you something historic, it just feels like a no-brainer.
And the Eagles got a ready-made team, and they still willing to mortgage their chips and go get a Myles Garrett.
Do you believe they want the Lions to get him?
No, but you don't want to get into a pissing match with Howie Roseman. So I mean, Brad Holmes, you better. And not to say that he's not, but you got to consider shit like
Howie
this.
think he's slick. He out there like, hey, you know what? Y'all can have Darius Slay again.
Right. Right. Go ahead. Bring them on. Yeah, we got bigger plans. Like, no, that's tough, man. You don't want to see him go to somebody that you may be competing with over these next few years for the NFC. So,
oh man, that's a good point.
I got one more if we got time. Assuming the Lions keep their first round draft pick, with the first pick or the first round draft pick in this year's draft, would you rather the Lions select a linebacker or would you rather them select a defensive end?
Defensive end. Defensive end.
You Mr. Linebacker man, for real? You switch it up like that?
The conversation today, it helped me. And remember we talked about, KG, you should know this, Kelvin Shepard. Our defensive coordinator is a linebacker, and they've had success selecting some contributing linebackers third round and later. You know, and Rodriguez is one of those guys where you talking about that Kelvin Shepard clip that went viral with him talking about Malcolm Rodriguez. I'm like, you know what? We still got some guys here. If you can get some edge help, a lot of you guys' breakdown and knowledge has kind of helped me in this as well. I'm going defensive edge, man, and I'm going to trust the linebacker stuff to our defensive coordinator. I believe that they're going to still find somebody. You helped me in that thought process.
I like that answer.
All right, so it's not going to be that simple. If James Pierce, Mike Green, or Jihad Campbell is available at 28, two of them are edges, one of them is linebacker, take any single one of them. As far as any linebacker outside of Jihad Campbell, any edge rusher outside of the ones I mentioned, and of course assuming Abdul Carter won't be there, give me generic edge over generic linebacker.
Okay. JB?
Give me the edge linebacker. You can find either later on in the draft or hell, free agency or next year if anything. So edge.
All right, keep in mind, this is your first round pick, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go with an on-ball linebacker, also known as an edge player. So
just look at Chase, always trying to work the system, dog. All right, he always trying to work the system. Go ahead, Big Willie.
Okay, I think we give a good a defensive tackle. To be honest with you.
Oh,
yeah,
a third option. All right,
third option, a defensive tackle for a guy to be 6'7" that could move is 331 pounds. Kentucky Deion Walker, man.
Hey, I'm not mad at the D line.
Where's your sign at? You held it up earlier. He was there. You go. He held that up in the beginning of the show.
Right. He owned that Deion Walker, man.
Cass Tech technician with the University of Kentucky.
Hey, shout out our Detroit natives.
Yeah, big. And more on that next week. More on that next week with our draft breakdowns. But what we got in the chat?
Michigander 1212 edge all day. Denver Blair defensive edge. Dante 151 linebacker. Michigan edge, and more edge.
Oh,
Hoof Harden, one of my favorite chat handles. He says defensive end all of the way. It's kind of going back and forth, man.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Well, that's what I intended.
Have been down the middle.
And I was inspired from that tweet. You know, would you rather go edge or linebacker with that first pick, assuming they keep their first round pick? But we talked about it. I'm going edge. Like you got to get a true pass rushing edge to pair with Aiden Hutchinson. And I would like it to be somebody that is a athletic freak, because that is something that Hutch hasn't had next to him.
No, I like that, man. I like that.
All right.
You have any more questions?
I had a Tigers one, but it's not important. We can conclude it here. So
dope. And then we'll hey, would you rather? Brought to you by Feldman Automotive.
Shout out.
And I believe I got Soroki's.
Yeah, Soroki's. Did we want to clear up some super chats while we got some time too?
Absolutely.
Yes, and let me know when we hit that total. And
we're there.
Right.
We're there. Yeah, we're over it already.
Hey, I see we're 9 likes away from our goal. 9 likes away. If you haven't got an opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button.
Smash that.
And if we're getting close to that second March giveaway, hey, dope. But we already got one. Let's go.
We already hit one. And shout out to Dante. He has been on one today. $9.99 super chat. Everyone's favorite story. The Pistons are favored at -1.5 to -2 tonight against the Nuggets. The 6th seed Pistons favored against the 3rd seed Nuggets. What year is this? This is insane. Also, he sent in another $4.99 super chat as well, too. He said, the reason why people are discouraged to Garrett is because of Anson Wells saying, let Brad cook. I don't want the Eagles to get him. And he's putting this in all caps, too. So, yeah.
Freaking Anson.
Anson, man.
Of course.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
No,
generational run by Anson this year. Generational run.
I love Anson. He's just
he the man.
He is the biggest walking contradiction I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's eccentric.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love Anson.
No, yeah, Anson is the man. He already know how I feel about him, but yeah, he could be a little much at times. He knows that.
Dog, I want us to get some type of show like the Anson universe, and just every day Anson take a camera with you.
The
bro.
Anson verse.
Yes, the Anson verse. Shout out to Anson, man. Goodness gracious.
But yeah, let's hear from Soroki's.
Absolutely. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. You know, you can get it right now, even though football season is not here. You can order pizza, you can order wings, you can try one of their 7 different flavors. You can even order online. Visit Sorokis.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
I love Woodward Sports. Love wearing clothes. Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. Hey, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward live on the Woodward Sports Network. And now it is time for everybody's favorite segment, What's Trending with JBSmooovv.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
In my Mason voice, Jeremy Bryant.
Oh, let's rock. Full government.
You're right. Shout out Mason, man.
Shout out Mason.
Friend of the show.
I know we're a little short on time, so I'm going to run through some of these videos. Shout out to everyone in the super chat for sending in super chats as well, too. But you know what? We've been so successful with these gym fails, so might as well keep it going.
Keep it going. TGTs, man.
We need those shirts, too.
I mean, tough guy in training. But I don't know what you're training for, my guy, but I hope you get gold in it.
Oh, I know what he training for.
Big musket energy?
Yeah, I know what he training for. He about to put it down on Shorty later.
Yes, indeed.
Bro,
he finna go crazy. That's that.
He called Big Musket Fitness.
No, that's that one where you landed a fish that you didn't think you can land. So you got to prep yourself. You gotta train. Oh man,
and no judgment either, man. It's the judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free zone.
Hey, my man training for an Olympic style sex session.
Shout out.
He about to look like an Olympian in that fucking room.
Does that get your big musket stamp of approval?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You got,
my man go in, man.
He's not hurting himself or anybody, so just
You better watch out. I bet he got a roast sparks in that back pocket too. You better watch out.
What'd you say?
Is he wearing Hulk hands?
No, rubber gloves. For
I think those are like rubber gloves.
Okay.
Yeah, that nigga.
It's just a joke.
That would be hilarious.
He finna go
Like I said, my
wild,
man is
bro. Off
going
the
in
blue
there
chew.
at Planet Fitness. I don't know why, but have you guys checked out the new Nike haircut?
Okay.
The Nike haircut?
Oh, come on, big dog.
He got a headband?
Come on,
The new
big
Nike
dog.
haircut, man.
What the fuck?
They gonna
No,
smack
I get it though. But you ain't supposed to have the check right in the middle. You supposed to always off censor, bro. Everybody knows that.
Holy shit.
They gonna slap the shit out of him in school.
Come on,
top of that
Dog,
head.
don't come around the squad with that. We go flame the shit out you, bro. But that's just...
and bring your head, bring it down some, bro.
I bet you he can't hoop either. It's always the people like this getting shit like this and can't hoop, dog. Like, what did you doing that for? Oh,
Dog.
shit.
Man, wow.
Oh.
Wow. That's all they hear.
Not the Nike headband, man. Your head already big as hell. Come on, dog.
It's the new haircut that's sweeping the nation out here.
Flannel, how much
Oh.
super chats would it take, man?
Oh, no.
Hey, for a $200 super chat, Flannel Sam.
That is erroneous. Absolutely not.
Sam, dude.
Flannel Sam will get the Nike headband.
I'm dead serious. You could give me $1 million and I wouldn't do it.
$1 million.
My man's out here, the white Al Harrington over here. My man. Dog, get him off my screen. I'm a flame him, dog. I'm a flame him.
You're talking about the headband that
Yeah.
never flew away. But
Right.
Like, bro, that's not even on your head. It's just sitting on this.
Right.
My man, dribbling, get to the rack. That headband stayed on for dear life, though, man. God.
Hoop heads like us remember Al Harrington.
Yeah, dog. Hey, you remember the Protege little shoes in Kmart too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Dog, that
Oh shit.
Dog, that was a good one, KG.
No. You guys.
Good video,
Going too
JB.
far. You're going too far, man. But let me get to this video right here. You can feel the pain of this crossover through the screen. Just know that.
Oh. But all right, in the defender's defense, you outside, you playing on a wet court
wet
with house shoes on. So I mean, you was gonna get crossed up. I mean, yeah, that's tough though.
Man, dang, when you get crossed up into playing Twister, a whole nother game, you know it's bad,
But this
bro.
is why you don't play on wet courts though, because this
No.
shit like this can happen.
We all know it don't matter, bro. All the homies can show up.
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, the sun could be out all day. If you go there and you see that the court's still wet, it's a dead mission.
Yeah,
At all.
It's like,
Just don't
see
do
y'all-
it.
See y'all next time. Not at all.
Don't
He
do
just
it.
did Urkel. Y'all ain't know about that.
right. My man playing Twister.
Just don't do it. And finally, I will end what's trending with this. Remember, always when you're outside, watch where you're going. Please, people.
Oh my God.
Bro, that's like
Father,
a
I felt his voice was like, no.
bro, that's like a movie scene, bro, where the little music playing in the background. Dun, 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 then the kid just runs right into the truck. That is gold.
That's not
KG, you got the headphones?
No, I don't.
Bro, so he's like, it gets to a point where he realizes. He's like, no.
Right.
After he hits,
It's too late.
you could tell his wife comes into his mind. He's like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's too late. The kid having too much joy. The kid was having way too much fun. He was not gonna stop. So, man, that's tough.
He
What
know
you?
his wife about to kill him, bro.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He got to learn these lessons though. You got to watch where you're going,
Learn
son.
these lessons.
It's a learning lesson.
But he like, Dad, you flew. You told me to do this.
Hey, listen. When I was very, very young, I made the mistake of putting my whole hand on a hot ass iron. But guess what I learned from that day?
You learn today.
Yeah, you need these lessons, man. The young ones need it, man.
Man.
But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into some mailbag while we got a little time.
Yep, an abbreviated mailbag. Me and Justin got the pod to record.
Yes, sir. 10-10, hard deadline.
Hey, you know what? Let's get in a couple. We will wrap up at 10:05.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, let's get in a couple Feldman mailbags. You want to say what up, though, to our friends while they get those in? We'll say what up, though, to Feldman one more time. I know that you had a good experience with Feldman Automotive.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, you know what? I actually have a Feldman mailbag question for you guys. The Detroit Pistons and the Denver Nuggets play tonight. The Detroit Pistons are trying to extend their winning streak to 9 games. They didn't practice yesterday. They had an off day after, the win. They probably could use the rest, but the Denver Nuggets are coming in off of the second game of a back-to-back. And remember what I told you guys? What encouraged I think they can get to 46 wins is that the Pistons play less back-to-back games than their opponents. So when they're meeting their opponents are coming off more back-to-backs than they will be. And so the Denver Nuggets are in this position right now. And I got to ask you guys, what's your pick? Who's winning?
Because of the factor of the second night of a back-to-back, give me the Pistons. I've been inspired by how they played against the Celtics, and given the fact that they have the off day, the Nuggets did not. The Nuggets are going to be formidable. I don't know what the Pistons are going to be able to do to Nikola Jokic, but just don't let the Jamal Murrays and the Michael Porter Juniors of the world go off. So give me a close Pistons win.
And KG, before you go, JB, start to select your winner as well so we can get that giveaway winner. But KG, what about you, man?
I think I'm going slappy mode on this, man. And this is kind of to help my 51 wins take, but give me the Pistons, dog. But it's going to be key. They have to play well on the perimeter. If you can limit Jokic and Jamal Murray from killing you from 3, I think you got a real good chance to win this game, man. I'm interested to see how they play him. Like I said, Asar Thompson, I think he's going to play a big role defensively on Jokic. And, yeah, man, Pistons get a very, very close victory at home.
JBSmooovv.
Well, I was wrong yesterday, or the last time when they played Boston, and given the fact that they are a 1.5 point favorite, dude, I might.
They are favorite. You're right.
I might stick with the Pistons on this one. Hey, Pistons in a very tight, close win on this one, but they at least get it done by 2.
Cavassier, what's your pick for tonight's game, man? Denver Nuggets, Detroit Pistons. They try to keep the win streak going.
Yeah, I mean, keep the streak going, Pistons.
That's right, man. What up, dog? Willie B.
Let me tell you this. It's going to be tough for the Pistons because stopping Jokic is a task, and don't underestimate Jamal Murray and Westbrook on the backcourt. So in that case, you eliminate both of them. It's going to be an all-around win, close win by Detroit. I pick the Pistons all the way. They got to step up tonight.
Hey, let's go. I know what's really in your mind, though, Willie B. You still looking for them chicken tenders, dog. My man was tagged. You got some videos, too, dog. I can't find
them burn-ass tenders, man.
No, they was sold out, man. I was everywhere in that pack-ass Little Caesars Arena line the day before. I was heated. Somebody ran out of tenders. I said, this is some bullshit. I had to call back
Y'all
to work.
this arena food.
Goddamn right.
You know what? We're going to have to make some content of that, Willie B.
Oh, most definitely.
We're going to do that, man. Definitely show everybody about the world-famous LCA concourse, which is not a lie. I got to my media seat, and there was so many people on the concourse. Got the, sat down. Arena was decent. But after you could tell people got their food and they got to their seats, that arena was packed.
It was rocking, bro.
Man, it was rocking. We're going to have boots on the ground, both Red Wings and Pistons. And opening day for the Tigers is just around the corner. So you guys already know we cut up the heavyweights, the legends. Shout out Easy and Spinny.
No, they about to be on
I don't know
again.
what it's going to be this year. Hey. We got to figure out, but the sponsors are coming for that as well.
Hey, real quick on the Tigers. Matt Vierling got injured. And they're kind of being secretive about what it is, man. They haven't really come out and said whether it's serious or not. So we could still be in play for a third baseman. Could. Just saying.
Let's rock, man. Well, hey, chat family, as always, you all are the most important part of this show. The super chat goal was passed. The like goal, hey, shout out to you guys. If you haven't got an opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button while JBSmooovv reveals this winner.
Looking through all the chats, I gotta give it to you One Mr. Shy 216. Because
Hey!
it is your anniversary, my guy. So
Flannel's
happy
arch
anniversary once
nemesis.
again.
Veto. I'm kidding. Shad, you congratulations.
Hey, Shad, you know the deal. Email me kool-aid@woodwardsports.com, and I did get some emails from some of you all, as well as Freddie Felt. We're going to get you hooked up. I think he is due an LFGRW shirt.
Oh, hell yeah. Hook my guy up,
So,
man.
yeah,
what's up.
Yep. And we're going to continue every day. There's been merch every day. We've hit our goal. Thank you, chat family, man. This is epic, man. We appreciate it. Shout out to Matthew Broder. Shout out to that dude, Justin, as well. And I'm going to start here. KG.
Yes, sir.
Detroit's #1 draft pick in the building.
Hey.
Held it down, but would you rather? I already hit up Noah like, bro, I think that would you rather would be a great segment.
Yeah, hey, appreciate that, man.
So we're going to get that up on the channel as well. Hey, thanks for everything you do, brother.
Oh,
Great
of
stuff.
course, man. Anything for the squad, man. You know I love my team, man. We come in here and do this week after week after week. You saw I was looking at you. I'm like, hey, wrap it up, B. Wrap that shit up. But shout out to the chat, man. We appreciate all the super chats and you just checking us out, man. We appreciate you making us a part of y'all morning. Let's keep this shit rolling, man. Let's have a good weekend.
Hey, and you know what? I'm gonna go over here to give JB time. There you go. I see him. You know what? We'll go over here to one Cavassier Chase.
Pastor
Chase
Cavassier.
GPT, working hard for the crew and for the whole network. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Hope you guys have a good one. Hopefully the Pistons get a nice win tonight. Red Wings bounce back tomorrow down in Columbus for the Stadium Series. Shout out my dad. Shout out the guys at Seymour Ford. I.e. to anyone who's observing this weekend and over the next 30 days or so. And then I hope you guys have a good weekend. See you guys for Big D Energy, for Ermanni and Edwards, for heavyweights. So have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you Monday.
Hey.
A fundamental pass.
Hey.
This is the big fundamental right here, man.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. We're going to have to get some content out there hooping. But shout out to this elite booth as well. We got Willie B.
Big Willie
better
style.
and better holding it down. I don't even say get better. You're already at the standard and beyond, bro.
Well, thank you.
And your personality, it fits right in, man.
Appreciate
Well
it.
done,
Most appreciate it. Good to be in, man. It's good to be
Great
in.
hoodie, too.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So in that case, we're going to have fun. Now, shout out to you guys. Shout out to my folks down in the Detroit area, especially in the city. So
What's up?
Oh, most definitely over in the Jerome Dexter area. What's up right here?
Hey, okay, that's my old stomping ground. All right.
Man, my dad grew up on Glendale, man.
Oh, sweat.
Yeah.
Small world.
Shout out, yeah. Shout out WUW Sports MVP JBSmooovv in the TD booth. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Shout out to all our chat family for your donations. We love and appreciate it so much. It's helping out more than you can even imagine. Big weekend. We got Woodward ringside dropping a little bit later today as well too. Elimination Chamber this weekend. Stadium Series as well with the Red Wings. NASCAR back at it again on Sunday. So it's a
Chase
big
looked up.
weekend.
No, I'm talking. Chase a gearhead. Yeah.
I like NASCAR. It was crazy when I lived in North Carolina for a year and a half. Is when I was like, whoa, NASCAR is a real deal down here, man. It was crazy. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yes, sir. We're gonna have to do something, man. We are in the Motor City after all. Shout out to WUW Sports MVP, WUW Sports Veteran Network, vet of the squad, and MVP as well. That's Flannel Sam over here, man. Ball knower, Red Wings correspondent. What up,
Big musket.
Pistons, give us a chance to do another Piston-centric show on Monday. Go 2-0 this weekend.
Ooh,
That'd
they
be
do
crazy.
that? I'm doing the
Let's
show
get it.
literally standing on the desk.
Right. We talking about 10 straight victories.
And I want Killian Hayes 0 for 10, 0 for 4 from 3.
He's been hooping.
5. I know, but then you'll have the Wheezies in here who are actually rooting. They are literally rooting for the Nets so that they can, blow themselves over Killian Hayes.
Remember when we said that he would actually fit in with this?
I know. I'm
and
not
then
hating.
he's actually hooping.
Killian's been playing well, but I don't want any ulterior motives in it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what if I told you?
Shut that shit down. Your man's finna get embarrassed. Wheezy, if you're watching, your man's finna get embarrassed, dog.
Hey,
What if I told you Killian Hayes was the hidden piece of the...
you know what? It's your boy Brandon Dad, KD Trey Kool-Aid. Your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. It's been a show. Wake up, Woodward chat family as always. Y'all are the most important part of this thing. Have a blessed day. Have a great weekend, you guys.